Welcome to a brand new episode of the Michele Tafoya podcast. It is Wednesday. That means it's Wildcard Wednesday. And this week it's special. This is Wildcard Wednesday, LA Riots edition. Okay, so many layers to these riots in Los Angeles. How they started, why they started, who's protesting peacefully and who's not. Because again, just like Minneapolis in 2020, where I live, they tried to tell you, oh, these are mostly peaceful protests as the city burned. It's pretty much what's going on in LA. Now, there were some peaceful protesters. I would probably categorize this first soundbite we're going to play for you as someone who believed he was being peaceful. Now, while he may have been being peaceful, he also kind of sounded silly. Let's roll it, Misty.
We don't agree with the term illegal. We're undocumented. We've been here for thousands of years before you guys showed up, screwed up everything. We think we should organize together with the U.S. working class and fight together and create a better system. We're anti-capitalist. We think socialism does work, real socialism, not Venezuela, not Cuba, not any of that crap that they try to sell us as socialism. And we believe it would be a more humane system that will take care of most of all people's necessities.
Is there a country we can look to kind of model the socialism idea?
The only model would be Soviet Union the first 4 years. After that, it became a mess. Sadly, there was a bureaucrat leadership that grew out of that, but it has to do mainly with the attacks of the U.S. and all big powers against that system that was working. In the few years that it lasted, it showed the world that it could do much better than capitalism.
I mean, I just want to pull my hair out. So he comes up with the Soviet Union as an example of socialism that worked? It's communist. It was for those handful of years he talked about. But then he said a bureaucracy grew out of it. What do you think is going to happen when your system of government is socialism and the government takes care of everyone's needs? What do you think is going to happen? Who do you put in charge? Who do you put in charge of determining what everybody's needs are? Who do you put in charge? And then what about those people? They're going to be, hey, I'm in power, man. They can have wheat and grain and stuff and maybe some water, but I'm going to live large. I mean, I can't understand how anyone could look to any example of socialism that works. Oh my God. And he also doesn't like the term illegals. We've been here for thousands of years before you guys came and screwed it up. Yeah. And gave you freedom of speech and every other freedom. And oh my heavens. I don't know. So while he was peaceful in his delivery, he's clueless about socialism. Speaking of clueless, there were some news. This should come as no surprise. There were some anchors, news people describing the scene. There were a lot of ways to describe what was going on in LA and what may be going on still this week later on. But what we saw were a bunch of cars burning, a bunch of bricks and stones being thrown at police cars, dropped from overpasses. And this stuff was nuts. But there's another way to look at it. It was just people having a good time watching. Roll it, Misty.
Large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
They're just having fun watching cars burn. Yeah, that's fun. That is so fun. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when people in LA went to all the overpasses and watched the white Bronco chase with O.J. Simpson, the murderer, and going, go O.J. It's kind of similar. Just having fun watching cars burn. But if you put law enforcement in the wrong way, it could get ugly. Oh my God. So it's important to know who's cheering on these riots and these protesters. And it's also important to know who's going to be behind these June 14th protests all over the nation. And it's a lot of Randy Weingarten and a lot of Rebecca Pringle. Now, Rebecca Pringle, or Becky, as she's most often called, she is the president of the National Education Association, the NEA, which you would think is about students and school, right? And making teachers better. But no, you need to pay really close attention to teachers' unions because that's not what they're about. They're about social justice. They're about masking kids in school during COVID. They're about paying the union bosses. They're not about teachers. They're not about students unless it includes indoctrination. So let's take a listen. Now, we've introduced you to Becky Pringle in the past, but I don't know if you've ever seen her quite like this. Roll it, Misty.
We the people! We the people! We the people! Yeah! All of us have that right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice!
Well, it was the pursuit of happiness, if she was really quoting, but she wasn't. See, here's the other thing. That word justice and equity are these buzzwords that leftists use to make everything sound virtuous. The pursuit of justice. Yes. And we, the people, do have the right to pursue justice, but that was cringe on a scale that I don't like to see very often. Now, I mentioned Randy Weingarten. She is going to be heading up one of these protests on June 14th, day before Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. You should go to protest to celebrate the weekend. Don't sit home and watch the U.S. Open, one of the best golf tournaments ever to grace a television set. Don't do that. Don't barbecue. Don't grill. Just go protest. Say no to kings. These protests, look into it. They're being organized by a really sketchy group that is heavily funded. This is not some organic grassroots. No, it is not. I think the organization is nokings.com. So check it out. But here you can see that Randy Weingarten is going to be right front and center. Can't wait to hear her speech at the protest because it'll be a little bit like Becky you just heard. Now, we're going to show you some newspaper headlines here because if you still have faith in the media, I'm going to suggest that you look really closely at these. Let's remember there were fires. There were bricks being thrown from overpasses. This was not peaceful. But if you look at these headlines, the Mexican flag becomes a potent LA protest symbol. Trump is acting like an authoritarian. Californians' crisis now rests on what he does next. That's CNN. He's waging a war on us as Trump escalates Angelenos defend their city. Yeah, they defend their city by looting and stealing from the Apple store. Trump using National Guard in LA is an abuse of power, says national security expert. Wonder who that expert is, because every constitutional attorney I've heard speak, every person that knows the law inside and out, says the president has every right to bring the National Guard to bear when a situation gets out of control. So there's your good friend, the media. That's why they have a trust level maybe below that of Congress, maybe just above. Maybe they're tied. I don't know. Now, the National Guard is a force that is used to protect. All right. It's there to protect people, to try to bring law and order. Oftentimes they're there when there are hurricanes and earthquakes, and they help in those situations as well. Now, before this week, Gavin Newsom was a real fan of the National Guard. Now he says that bringing the National Guard to LA has an authoritarian tendency to it. But listen to Gavin. I think this is about a year ago on the border, talking about the National Guard. Roll it, Misty.
We're back down here at the border, Tijuana, right behind me, San Diego sector. This is the San Ysidro port of entry, not too far away, which is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. Now, we're just down here with the National Guard, meeting with customs agents as well as Border Patrol, talking about our partnerships. 390 National Guardsmen and women that have been working, particularly as it relates to fentanyl here in the state of California. Look at the bottom line, at the end of the day, they need more resources. Everybody needs more resources. And the Republican Party has been consistently standing in the way of providing the resources, the support for the men and women working hard, not only here at the border, but out throughout the state of California and this country to address the issues related to the border. It's time for them to stop playing politics. It's time for the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, to stop playing politics and do the right
thing. Yeah, need more resources. Turns out we didn't need more resources. Just turns out we needed to implement the law as written, because crossings have nearly vanished. They're down, 95, 99%, something like that. But, he was down there working with the great men and women of the National Guard. By the way, he mentioned customs and Border Patrol. Customs relates to ICE. He didn't use the word ICE. He talked about Border Patrol. He talked about the National Guard, all the hardworking people, and Republicans are just messing it up. Oh, there are people that continue to predict his political demise, that there's no way he can run for president, especially in this instance after standing up for these protesters, these rioters, the way that he is. But he is doubling down on everything. Some of the ex-posts he's put out have just been a little nuts. I don't know, though. The guy is like a cockroach. He just stays alive politically. I wish he'd go to sleep. Maybe I'll send him a case of sleep cream. Sleep cream is a product that I was really skeptical about until I tried it for a couple nights and realized, man, this stuff works. It is a CBD-based cream. It's a topical. You don't need a prescription. You don't have to take a pill. You just put this stuff on at bedtime. And by the way, I'll put it on the insides of my forearms. Sometimes I put it on my feet. The thing is, the stuff smells so good too. It's like getting an aromatherapy treatment as you're going to sleep. Sleep Cream Rose is a gentle aromatic cream designed to calm your senses, nourish your skin, and ease you into deep restorative sleep. It is infused with pure Bulgarian rose essential oil. Sleep Cream Rose blends the calming power of aromatherapy with skin softening hydration, and of course, that CBD element that relaxes you and gets your body ready to do what it needs to do at night, which is sleep. So this amazingly beautiful scent is now available. It's a beautiful floral, helps calm your mind naturally, and it gives your body that signal that it's time to rest. So whether you're unwinding from a busy day or pausing for a quiet moment of self-care, Sleep Cream Rose turns bedtime into something really beautiful. And so Sleep Cream encourages you to try it. And if it doesn't work for you, they'll give you your money back, guaranteed within 30 days of the day of purchase. So if you don't experience better sleep, you get that refund in the first 30 days, guaranteed. Now, remember this code word, home run. Use the code word home run. It's baseball season after all. Home run to get free standard shipping on your first order. So go to sleepcream.com. Sleep, CREME.com. Sleepcream.com. Again, that code word is home run for free standard shipping on your first order. Okay, so we had Gavin Newsom speak, and we've had the media present you with headlines that really are nonsensical. And now we have Maxine Waters, a California congresswoman who tells you what the left constantly tells you, what the media constantly tells you, what many Democrats tell you. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe what you're seeing. I want to roll this for you and listen to Maxine, but ask yourself, are you going to believe her or are you going to believe your eyes? Let's roll it.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot, nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so, when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. And I went from downtown detention back out into the community, talking to people what happened in Paramount, what happened in Compton, what happened in Inglewood. So, first of all, get it straight. And don't just rely on what you're being told or the few incidents that you saw.
Don't rely on what you've been told or the incidents that you saw. Listen to me. Listen to me. I am Maxine Waters. I tell the truth. You are very, very gullible. Listen to me. I mean, the gall. It's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. No one got hurt. No one was killed. No one got shot. Oh, there's a success story for you. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to warn you, this next clip is laden with F-bombs. So laden that it would have been silly to try to take them all out. So we're going to let it roll. And this guy is just amazing. If you can get past the F-bombs and just listen to the point that he's making, and it's a pretty good point. Just roll it, Misty.
Someone asked me if I support the protests that are going on in LA. I 100% do. Please keep going. Burn down your own backyard if you must. You know why? Because this right here is the greatest campaign ad that this side never had to pay for. Y'all motherfuckers out there in Los Angeles throwing a full-blown fucking tantrum. Like y'all just crawled out the Rio Grande, screaming death to America, in a country that gave you the fucking freedom to do that shit. You were born at Kaiser Permanente in Burbank. Stop it. You ain't El Chapo, you're Chris from Pasadena. You ain't cartel born. You were Target born with a Costco membership by age 5. Half you motherfuckers protesting ain't even Mexican. You're American with Mexican heritage. And a tattoo of the Virgin Mary you got on a Vegas bender. Don't get it twisted, I respect the heritage. But flying a foreign flag while shitting on the country that gave you the fucking freedom to do it, that's not pride. You don't even go to fucking Mexico unless it's for spring break in Cancun with a passport you got from the US government. And you won't go live there. Why? Because you like your DoorDash. Your 7-Elevens, your air conditioning, and your freedom to scream dumb shit without a cartel rolling up on your motherfucking ass. And let's be honest, ain't nobody screaming death to Mexico while flying an American flag through Guadalajara. You know why? Because that's how you end up in a back alley, starring in Cartel TikTok Season 3. Meanwhile, the rest of America is sitting back watching you block freeways during rush hour, destroying businesses, wearing $300 fucking Jordans, screaming about injustice, in the city with the most social programs and diversity hires in the fucking country. Y'all are the political version of throwing a Molotov cocktail at a fucking Prius because you're mad about gas prices. So listen, I'm not mad you're passionate. I'm mad you're dumb. And your dumbass behavior is helping the other side more than a Trump rally in Texas with free brisket. Every time y'all riot, loot, tearing up your own shit, you're just birthing another red voter. So yeah, I support the protest. Keep fucking going. Keep flying flags of countries you ain't got the fucking balls to move to. And shitting on the system that literally gives you the right to shit on it.
I don't know if he just did that on the fly. It's so damn good. I mean, I try to keep my language clean. That's who he is. All right. And the thing about the flags is really bothering people. Like, I can't tell you how many people have said, I don't get it. Like, you're flying another country's flag, but you don't want to go live there. And you're burning our flag, but you do want to live here. The hell? So this question's being asked a lot. Here's a young woman who also doesn't get it. Roll it.
Bro, I am trying my hardest to understand why the ICE protesters, some of them, are going around and waving their country flag, but yet they won't go home. You're burning up American flags and waving your country's flags, but yet you're in America, protesting against ICE. I don't understand it. Go back home. Deport them all. No excuses no more. Seriously. And Governor Gavin Newsom, he needs to be arrested. I don't understand it. I really don't. For all you liberals, Democrats, whatever you want to call yourself, if you do not like America, deport yourself or allow ICE to deport you. It's simple. These people are hypocrites too, because Obama deported way more illegal immigrants than Trump. Where was the outrage? Again, where was the outrage? It doesn't make any sense to me. But I know what I voted for, and I stand with ICE.
Well, there you go. A lot less profanity in hers, but she's asking some very reasonable questions. Wow. Okay, she mentioned the name Obama. Let's go back in time a little bit, shall we? And just remind you of what Obama said when he was president. Roll it.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
But somehow it's just not right anymore because Hitler's in office, right? Because we've got a fascist Nazi in office. So somehow now it's no longer okay to be the deporter in chief. It's no longer okay to enforce the law, to use ICE and Border Patrol to enforce the law. Now, that's something to riot over. I don't know. All right. I like to end with a little bit of a twist on Wildcard Wednesdays, and I've got two for you today. The first one is, I don't ever think I'd say this sentence on a podcast. This is a trans woman, translation here, that's a biological male who now identifies as a woman. This is a trans woman with some common sense. I'll just let you hear it. Let's roll.
Okay, try to keep up. I am a 47-year-old biological man. I am been on hormones for a year, a little over a year. I just had my boobs done. I've had one facial surgery. I am not going to have bottom surgery. I'm going to do one more face surgery on the bottom of my chin. I am transitioning to look as much like a female as I can. That's the way I've wanted to be my whole life. I understand that I cannot ever be a biological female. For those of you people that cannot define what a female is, realize that you're part of the problem, okay? A female is someone who was born a female with X chromosomes and can have babies and can give birth and so on and so forth. For the idiots out there that say that some men can have babies because they're trans men, well, that's because they're a biological woman. So let's stop all the nonsense and stop all the bullshit. I don't care about pronouns. My biological name and my legal name is David. The name I like and prefer to use is Daviana, so feel free to call me that. Ask me any questions you want. I'll answer them. Bye.
Damn, that's refreshing. Couple key things he said. I'm transitioning so that I can look like a woman, which is what I've wanted my whole life. Look like a woman, which is what he's wanted. Fine. But he says I'm not a biological woman. And anyone who says anything differently, and those of you who don't know, can't define a woman, you're the problem. Bravo. Bravo. I may play that one every day for a year. I might. I don't know. But we end with this breaking news. Actually, it's not news by now. You've probably heard Terry Moran, the reporter anchor at ABC News, who was suspended over an X rant, has now been let go. Apparently, there were a lot of people at ABC News who were really ticked at this guy for his rant, because guess what? He exposed them. He exposed himself, and he exposed ABC News as being the biased operation that many news organizations are. Now, you may remember Terry Moran from an interview that he did with President Trump. I think it was like around the 100th day in office. And he did this interview. Terry Moran got the interview. And he even exposed back then who he was. I think this is worth rerunning the clip, knowing what you know now about Terry Moran. Let's see it again.
Now, when you see the numbers.
But do you think, I'm going to ask you, if I may, do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across the stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you for the opinion, but more importantly, thank you for having us here. I have one more question. It's a big one. It's a question that you know a lot of people have out there.
Oh, unfortunately, that wasn't included in the clip that I chose. I wonder what that question was. We'll have to go find that somewhere and tell you next time. But basically, you saw it throughout the interview. This guy was so condescending. He was so self-important, and he proved it on X with all of his rantings about Stephen Miller, who's one of the advisors to the President of the United States. Got suspended, got the axe. Then that really was an interesting development this week. Not quite as interesting as the riots and the idiocy that we can continue to see on display from the Democrats. My God, they don't know what the hell they're doing, do they? They don't. But Terry Moran, I wonder where he'll wind up, or if he even has a career in journalism anymore now that he's revealed himself to be so freaking biased. All right. With that, I say be brave, do good, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time. Hey, you can keep up with the Trump administration when you subscribe to the Trump Report. It's an email that brings you daily highlights from the Oval Office right to your inbox 5 days a week. Subscribe today at SalemPodcastNetwork.com/Trump.